Days after the Chicago University released President Bola Tinubu's academic records on request by PDP's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, reactions have continued to trail the document. The release did not only unveil aspects of Tinubu's academic history, but also ignited questions about the credibility of the documents submitted to the Electoral Commission, including his true identity. The spotlight is yet again on Tinubu's academic credentials, this time by the Labour Party's presidential candidate, Peter Obi. Addressing the media in Abuja, Obi says the controversy surrounding President Tinubu's academic records is further damaging the image of the country globally, as Nigerians are, among other things, now perceived as certificate forgers. He wants President Bola Tinubu to come clean and personally address Nigerians to lay the matter to rest.
Uninformed outsiders now see every Nigerian as a fraudster, certificate forger, or identity thief. Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu should have saved the nation and himself this protracted embarrassment and undue anxiety. He should reintroduce himself to the nation he governs and to the world for avoidance of further doubt. He should let the world know his name, his nationality, his place of birth, his parentage, the primary and secondary school he attended with dates, as well as the actual universities he attended and certificates obtained. The people deserve to know with certainty the true identity of their leader, and this overrides whatever rights he may have to personal privacy.
According to Obi, his appeal to President Bola Tinubu is not politically motivated, but born out of a true desire to preserve Nigeria's credibility, one which he says has been tainted. Obi says the tax on clarifying allegations of academic credentials forgery and identity theft must be undertaken by the president and not outsourced to spokesperson or media aides.
This is not a political matter. I want people to understand. It is no longer politics. I've said it over and over again. It is about integrity, morality, values, and the rule of law that defines the character of a nation and its people. A leader cannot outsource a clear, unambiguous personal statement about his identity to political surrogates, official spokespeople, lawyers, or any other person, no matter how highly placed.
As the political implications of the controversy continues to unravel in the coming days, all eyes are on President Bola Tinubu to formally speak on the matter as demanded by the opposition. Chinasa Samuel, Arise News.
The All Progressives has described as joining the bandwagon the decision by the Labour Party's presidential candidate Peter Obi to join the PDP's Atiku Abubakar in his call for President Bola Tinubu to address the issue of his certificate and identity. The APC National Publicity Secretary, Felix Morka, in a statement says Obi jumped on the tailboard of Atiku's bandwagon to satisfy his alleged insatiable thirst for cheap media attention long after his Labour Party had dissociated itself from the call to action by the former vice president. The APC urged both opposition presidential candidates to know that President Tinubu does not need a reintroduction as he has no identity problem, except the one allegedly contrived by the two opposition leaders. He condemned the attempt by Obi and Atiku to use the mainstream and social media to intimidate the judiciary, incite the public to violence, and disparage justices of the Appeal and Supreme Court. Meanwhile, a report by BBC says there is no evidence that the diploma President Bola Tinubu submitted to the Nigeria's Electoral Commission was forged. The report says the conclusion was reached after a team from the broadcaster looked at some of the most widely circulated claims. All right, Rufai, I'm sure you've read the BBC report. It was certainly trending yesterday, and the press conference by Mr. Peter Obi, the response by the PDP camp, a lot going on yesterday.
So I read the BBC report, not an in-depth job done. It was a cherry-picking report that just talked about some areas and a couple of things. Number one, the part in the BBC report that the report did not talk about, it didn't talk about in the deposition where the school confirmed that what was submitted to INEC was not from them. Didn't also talk about the fact that there was a certain Michael Enahoro Eba, which was also in the deposition, that it was what they had about President Tinubu that they gave to Michael Enahoro Eba, which was at variance with what he submitted to INEC. And it was there in the report. Also, the report talked about the deposition talked clearly about the step-by-step procedure of how you could get a replacement certificate. And that speaks to the talk about third-party vendor, which the report talked about the fact that you go, you make your request to the website, and from there, they process it, you pay for it. And you can even get them to mail it to you. So that was also talked about in the report. So it was just some of the parts of the report. And I think for the sake of, our job, we need to be more rounded we need to be more circumspect across board. And also, even the heading was sort of like clickbait. It was sort of like clickbait because it was at the tail end. Then the report now confirmed and said, okay, yes. Oh, they talked about clerical errors. That was why the reason for the discrepancy on the date. But the report did not even also talk about part of the deposition about the document that said there were still some courses that needed to be done prior to graduation. Didn't talk about that. It was just at the tail end. They said, okay, the government college, Lagos was not set up as at 1970 when, the president claimed he left us at 1974. But you see, all of these things are already in the court. They've put them out in the court. So this was just in response to, the BBC reports. The APC, yes, has reacted to Peter Obi's statement by saying that the president does not need to reintroduce himself and that he's got nothing to say to the people since the matter is in court, and also the fact that about close to 9 million people did vote for him and all of that. I would also say let us leave the matter in court because it's the courts that will be able to prove what happened. All right, so they have made a deposition in court. Peter Obi saying here for the sake of public morality and integrity. Yes, there's that that talk about public morality and integrity. But like I will also say, him coming out to give that press statement after the matter has gone to court, the matter is already in court. Let the court rule. After the court rule, the conversation of public morality can continue. But in all of this, let the court rule, let the court come out of this, and then the conversations definitely will continue to reverberate.
All right.
When I saw the press conference by Mr. Peter Obi yesterday, I thought it was needless. If Mr. Peter Obi is considering a career in evangelism, yeah, there are many people who have gone from other careers into evangelism, but within the framework of the electoral process, what he did yesterday was just, in my view, just seeking media attention, looking for publicity. Why do I say so? The electoral process is effectively a process. If you, as a principal member of the process, if you have any grievances, the best place to go to is the court of law, and which is what Atiku Abubakar has done, the presidential candidate of the PDP, pursuing his matter in the court of law. The last time Waziri Atiku Abubakar had a press conference, he came out and said he wanted the candidate of the NMPP, Rabiu Kwankwanso, to join him, and also Peter Obi of the Labour Party to join him. The Labour Party released a statement and said they were not part of it. Okay, is it that now the Labour Party has changed its mind? The only appropriate forum that Mr. Peter Obi can adopt is to go to court, to say he has issues to raise. But to come forward and then be giving a press conference and moralizing, it doesn't quite fall within the framework of the matter before us. But of course, for publicity purposes, for attention-seeking purposes, what he has said has generated attention. And I think that the response that he has received from Felix Moka of the APC is in place. What Felix Moka has said is that the 8.9 million people who voted for Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the election, in the presidential election, they were not groggy when they did. So there's clearly a division on the matter in Nigeria. And the only place you can resolve it is not through propaganda, it's not media attention, it's in the court of law. So Mr. Peter Obi must be very clear about the fact that the matter is now before the Supreme Court, and it's only the Supreme Court that can decide on that particular matter. What are the questions he has raised about identity, about qualifications, about... This is like campaign after the election, as far as I'm concerned. It's campaign after the election. We have moved beyond the campaign. So he should stop campaigning after the election. If he has any issues, let him approach the courts. That's my honest opinion on that particular matter. As for BBC, again, I've made a point repeatedly on this program, quoting Nikki Toby, JSC, as he then was, in Atiku Abubakar versus Musa Yaradua, where he said that, look, public opinion, no matter how weighty it is of no consequence in the court of law. That what the law is interested in is the provisions of the law, not what you think. Either you are sitting on television and you are enjoying the privilege of having a microphone in your mouth, or you are in the public square where you can say whatever you like, or you are in a beer parlor where you think you have opinions. Most recently, the CJN of Nigeria, Justice Aruwola, more or less echoed the same thing that Nikki Toby JSC had said when he was swearing in judges of the Federal High Court. And he said, look, the court of law does not go by public opinion. So how do we situate this? Whatever the BBC has said with their investigation and all of that will fall within the province of public opinion. Okay, whether their investigation is correct or not, okay, they say they have done their own oversight. We call it in journalism investigative journalism, because we too hide under the rule of law and say we have a job to do. Anything that goes out there in the public domain, as investigative journalists, we have a duty. So that's the protection for BBC. But their opinion is of no consequence in the real sense when it comes to the court of law. It is for the Supreme Court to look at the facts of the matter, the issues at stake, and to determine accordingly. And whether or not we agree with it, well, we'll come back here and do judicial review. But people should move away from evangelism on this matter. Finally, what do I want to say? I mean, in the same vein, SCN Ulisa Agbakoba had advised, I guess appropriately in this instance, that there are too many bathroom lawyers. There are bathroom lawyers, there are officers in the Temple of Justice, and there are ambulance chasers. Too many ambulance chasers in this case. Ulisa Agbakoba used the phrase armchair lawyers. People just sit down and they talk about what they know nothing about. Okay? Haven't even not read any material, relevant material in the subject. So that's why I keep saying, look, let us leave the matter to the courts to decide. When we come back, we can now begin to talk about how we feel and all of that. But the court, the last bastion of the common man, will have taken his decision. Although in Agbakoba SAN's matter, where some people have accused him in some fora that he himself is part of the problem. After all, he was the one that brought up the issue about Section 137. But that is neither here nor there, in my view. The section that he brought up is on the table now before the courts. But please, let us be properly guided. If Peter Obi has any issues, the courts are still available for him to seek redress.
Well, the BBC, as a media outfit, has done what would be described as has been mentioned as an investigative piece and presented their own side of facts with regards to what they've considered looking at the case and the matter before them, or examining the position of Kauersberg of CSU, and they presented it for the Nigerian or perhaps international audience based on what they believe is their findings. They're not the first to have done this. A number of media outfits, a number of media organizations, personalities, analysts, politicians have also waded in or perhaps looked at this issue that is almost overshadowing the actual issue and actual work of governance, whereby we need to look at policies. There are more important issues to focus on, especially at this time. But this is what happens when we have a case like an identity that's not very clear, whereby the main issue of governance is a huge distraction from that. I believe it's one of the responses that had talked about the fact that let's not forget that it's only one NEC meeting that's happened, since at least with the new ministers, since the president came into power. Let's not forget that palliatives have not been distributed in terms of in commensurate measure to the increase in fuel prices. Let's not forget that food inflation is at its highest. We are debating about certificates. It's a huge distraction whilst people are suffering. Go and ask the woman or the man who is unable to send their children to school because of the cost of living, and ask her if she cares or he cares about certificate debacle. People want to survive. People want to eat. It is important because and even though it's argued that yes, it's before the Supreme Court and they will rule on this, but as Mr. Peter had said during his press conference, which I believe he did in his capacity as a Nigerian, because he said this wasn't politics, it was about morality, it was about the rule of law and so on and so forth. It is important to establish that. So the simple thing is, yes, the court processes are ongoing. Let the president have a simple fireside chat with a group of journalists or people that he himself nominates, and let him put paid to a number of things. Give us a life history, a life story of yourself, where you're coming from, how you've achieved or emerged as president, and put paid to all these arguments. And more importantly, let us focus on what should be focused on. Nigerians are suffering. People cannot afford to eat in a day. People cannot afford to live as they ought to live. These are the crucial issues in the matter of governance. Yes, the court will rule, but we must not forget the ordinary Nigerians who are still suffering, who are not able to eat, who have not received, the promised palliatives. The cost of living is going high. Salaries have not been reviewed. These are the things. There's oil set to talk about 2.3 trillion naira being lost. Important issues, but also very important, like Mr. Peter Obi, are going to attract foreign direct investment, that we must be a credible nation. We must have credible leaders. It is very important for governance.
APC chieftain have come out to tell ECOWAS to sack Tinubu from continuing as the ECOWAS chairman because of his forged CSU certificate and because of other of his documents that he forged. So this is what this APC chieftain has said to ECOWAS, and also because of the good works that Nigerians are doing on social media, because of how they are calling out what Tinubu is doing and letting the whole world know the atrocities that he has been committing as the president of Nigeria. Tinubu has submitted a bill to the National Assembly to regulate social media. So he has sent this bill so that he can stop Nigerians from speaking up, so he can make the people to keep quiet in the face of all the evil he is committing, because he knows that Nigerians are using social media to expose all the things that he is doing. But before we go fully into this, and before I will give us details into this, I would like us to do well to like this video, and please do well to subscribe to this channel so you get notifications whenever we post new updates. So this APC chieftain is calling on ECOWAS to sack Tinubu, and see the way this newspaper reported it. It said, APC chieftain to ECOWAS, sack Tinubu now over certificate forgery. His position as chairman no longer tenable. A former deputy national publicity secretary of the All Progressive Congress (APC) Comrade Timi Frank has called on the authority of heads of state and government of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, to sack President Bola Tinubu as its chairman. Frank, who made this call in a statement in Abuja on Tuesday, claimed President Tinubu lost legitimacy following discovery that he forged the Chicago State University CSU certificate he filed with the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to contest the 2023 presidential election in Nigeria. He said if ECOWAS must remain relevant and retain its credibility and respect among member states, especially in dealing with military junta now spreading fast like a pandemic across the sub-region, it must act fast to protect its integrity. He equally called on past and present presidents of member states of ECOWAS to prevail on the sub-regional body to do the right thing by appointing another chairman in acting capacity pending ratification during the next ordinary session of the Authority of Heads of States and Governments of ECOWAS. So this is what this man is saying. He is calling that the ECOWAS should sack Tinubu over this certificate forgery saga. And this is one thing that Nigerians too are clamoring for, and they are supporting it because he's actually spoiling not just Nigerians' image this time around, but also the image of ECOWAS. If someone who can forge his certificates is your chairman, how much more others? So how will you be able to settle disputes in countries that the people are not happy, maybe because their government is illegitimate? How will you do that when the chairman is also an illegitimate president? Reacting to this on X, this person here said he should be sacked as the presiding chair of ECOWAS. That's why Bola was pushing hard to invade Niger so that he could convert momentum. Worthless forger. Another person here said ECOWAS don't care as long as they are aligned with Tinubu. If not, how possible can he still be their chairman? And that's it. At this point in time, with all of this that is coming out from his country and even from Chicago State University about him, you still made him your chairman with all of this baggage. How will he be able to do the work that he is meant to do when countries are having challenges, when people are crying, or when military take over in a country because they feel their president or the leader over them is illegitimate? How will he be able to negotiate with those people when they'll be looking at him and saying that you are illegitimate, you are having different issues in your country, so you cannot come and settle us? Another person here reacted and said, you can see that ECOWAS is not an honest organization because I expected them without being told that the first thing to do is just to sack Tinubu, the certificate forger. Another person here said, ECOWAS is a huge joke. It's very bad for a country like Nigeria to have some people like Tinubu, Wike, and Yakubu, worst of the institutions we have under APC and National Assembly and Judiciary. We need to get up and fight for ourselves because ECOWAS is totally failed. This person here reacted saying, ECOWAS should sack Tinubu as their chairman because I still wonder why they still retain him as their chairman despite all those negative remarks he's already had to his name. Another person here reacted and said, sacking of Mr. Tinubu as ECOWAS chairman is long overdue. What are they waiting for? Back at home, Mr. Tinubu should just do the needful by apologizing to Nigerians and tendering letter of resignation. And this is it. The ECOWAS is just keeping quiet, and that's not how it's meant to be. This person is your chairman, and then he's having this kind of controversy about his certificate and about the election that made him president of Nigeria. Yet you've kept quiet. You are not doing anything about it. And this man is supposed to be a leader that will preside over other African countries. How are we going to grow in Africa when the body that is supposed to regulate these things is actually keeping quiet and upholding an illegitimate president as their chairman? It's really pathetic. And this is actually one of the reasons why he is moving to regulate social media, because he knows that that's actually one of the tools that Nigerians and the whole world at large are exposing all the things that he is doing and all what he has done. That's why he's moving to regulate social media. So Tinubu has sent a bill to the National Assembly to regulate the use of social media among Nigerians. And like we know also, NBC had earlier said in their report that them too, they have also sent that bill to the National Assembly so that they can regulate the use of social media among Nigerians, and according to them that the news from social media users are usually misleading. But Nigerians know the truth, that they are moving to regulate the use of social media so that they can make Nigerians keep quiet and so that they can cover up Tinubu Certificate Forgery. Because if Nigerians are not speaking on social media, mainstream medias are not carrying this, so it's impossible for Nigerians to let the whole world know, because our mainstream media will keep quiet to all of these facts before them. And we saw what the BBC did. They came out to tell the whole world that there is no evidence that Tinubu forged his Chicago State University certificate, when the school under oath revealed to the whole world that the certificate that Tinubu submitted to INEC is not from them. Yet, BBC came out to give that laughable report yesterday, and now Tinubu and his people are moving to ban Nigerians from using social media because they are scared that this information we are putting out is what is making international communities to know about what they are doing. That's why they are trying to put this bill into law so that they can regulate social media and stop Nigerians from talking. But it's not possible. Nigerians will not allow this to happen. Reacting to this move by Tinubu and his people to ban social media, this person here said Tinubu has submitted the oppressive social media regulation bill to the National Assembly through the back door. This social media bill will crack down on dissenting voices and government critics online, especially those holding Tinubu and APC to an account. And that's it. That's what they are trying to do so that they can shut people who are not agreeing with what the government is doing, so that they can shut people who are speaking against his forged certificates. And that person here said, you must get off the Twitter spaces and occupy your National Assembly to prevent this bill from seeing the light of the day. This person here said, Nigerians will resist you, Tinubu the certificate forger and drug baron. The heart of Pharaoh so hardened. Instead of doing the right thing, you are worsening it. And that's it. At this point in time, you have not said anything about the forged certificate that CSU talked about. You've not said anything about it, but you are moving to stop Nigerians from airing their view. Even when Peter Obi came out yesterday to urge you to reintroduce yourself to Nigerians, you kept quiet, and then APC image makers came out to say that you don't need reintroduction because Nigerians voted for you. If you are clean, like you always claim, and like the APC always claim, there's nothing difficult for the president of a nation to come out and introduce yourself to the people, to come out and show the people everything about you. But no, it's obvious. And that's why he was crying to the court in the US that releasing his documents will cause him irreparable loss. But yet, the APC, they want to take Nigerians for a fool by coming out to use BBC and to tell the whole world that there's no evidence to show that Tinubu forged his CSU certificate. This person here reacted and said, anti-democratic tendencies to silence the voice of reason. This signifies true reflection of dictatorship in the name of democracy. Our democracy is deoxygenated. Let Nigerian breathe. Don't suffocate them. And that's it. The same president that said that they should let the poor breathe is still the same president that is suffocating Nigerians. Why will you move to stop the use of social media when you know that this is actually an avenue that's beyond people tackling you on social media? Other Nigerians are using it for their business and all, but we also need to tackle you, because if we keep quiet as Nigerians, we will not have gotten to know that indeed you forged your CSU certificate, and the whole world will not know who Tinubu truly is. And that person here said, let him bring it on. Buhari messed with Twitter and nobody told him to run. This person here reacted and said, PDP never signed such bill when you all crucified Goodluck Ebele Jonathan alive and call him all sorts of names and insults. Democracy, my foot. Another person here reacted and said, Tinubu is trying to hide from his forgery shadow. Time will tell. APC is feeling the heat. Why did they want to regulate social media? Because it is hurting them. The people now know the truth. And that's it. You are trying to regulate social media now because it is hurting you. You are pretending like it's not affecting you. You are trying to cover it up that there's no certificate forgery. You paid BBC. You are paying some Nigerian mainstream media. But you know that you cannot pay Nigerians who are using their social media handles to call you out, and now you are moving to regulate it because you are feeling the heat indeed. Another person here said, no matter whatever he does to outsmart Nigerians with subtlety, his sins will always catch up with him. God is watching. The question is, what are the opposition lawmakers doing at the National Assembly? And that's it. They're not meant to keep quiet for this kind of evil bill to be passed. They're meant to fight it because Nigerians are fighting for the good of Nigeria. And that's why them as opposition, they are there to ensure that this administration and the National Assembly does the right thing. Another person here said he stole a mandate. He corrupted INEC, the court, the media, Chicago State University, and now he wants to compromise our voices. Greatest Nigerian people, una go gree. Nigerians will not accept this. Nigerians will not keep quiet. We will ensure that at the end of the day, this bill is not passed into law because we are grateful now that it came out and Nigerians are already kicking against it. Another person here reacted and said, Oga, get ready to pack most Nigerian youth. And that's it, because Nigerian youth will not keep quiet. And this is actually not just the youth and every other person, every other Nigerian. And this is actually beyond Nigerians. If you are trying to shut the mouth of Nigerians that are in Nigeria, how about Nigerians in diaspora that are always kicking against what you are doing? They're always talking about the truth. How about those who are not Nigerian but are interested in all of this? They're also lending their voice. How about this? Another person here reacted and said, the certificate forger, an identity thief, all your efforts and that of your allies in National Assembly will fail woefully. These criminals use the same social media against Goodluck. He has forgotten what goes around comes around. Hashtag Tinubu must go. And that's it. During Goodluck's administration, you all used social media against him, spoiling his government and all the things he was doing. But now, Nigerians are not even spoiling what you are doing. Nigerians are exposing things about you that are actually the truth. Nigerians are just opening the eyes of the world and even Nigerians to know who you are. Because if not for social media, many people will not know what happened in Chicago State University. Because most of our mainstream media kept quiet throughout. But it was through social media that Nigerians got to know the truth. It was through social media that Nigerians were enlightened. And now you are making the move to regulate social media so that you can stop Nigerians from talking. And Nigerians, we are not going to accept this, like people are already saying. Another person here said they can't stop us that are not in Nigeria. We will bombard them from all angles. And that is what I just said. You cannot even stop those that are in diaspora. Not to talk of people who are not Nigerians but are interested in what you are doing. Another person here reacted saying they will fail with this demonic, draconian, retrogressive, undemocratic and archaic move. They are wolves in sheep clothing, just masquerading as Democrats and progressives, yet attempting to gag the media. True Democrats will resist the move. And that's it. You can't say we are practicing democracy and you are trying to shut Nigerians from talking. You are trying to gag the media. Where is the freedom of speech of the people? Nigerians are meant to be free to speak. Nigerians are meant to be free to air their view. And these are actually reports that people are giving out. And the reports are true. It's not news that CSU under oath said that they did not give you the certificate that you submitted to INEC. So what are you saying? That Nigerians should just believe what BBC is saying? The BBC came out to say no evidence. Is that what we are going to be believing? No. We will keep using social media to enlighten Nigerians. Another person here said the good thing is that no one remains in power forever. They should create this monster to be very strong and unmatched when in office. The monster they made will surely be a tool that will deal with them. That dangerous monster is coming. Another person here reacted and said, shameless moves by enemies of democracy. Same fools in 2015 outstared a sitting president Jonathan with their propaganda, lies, now want social media to be regulated. Very shameful to all lovers of APC. Why same social media was what gave them power today. Another person here said, your wickedness is finding you out already. In a country where the very best are subjected to the background and people who didn't pass through primary schools are president, you won't end well with your evil plans. Are they expecting Nigerians to obey such trash? Whether or not it came through whatever doors, we will drag them to the abyss. Any laws lacking in morality have no place in the statutory books. And where are those elected under the Labour Party? It doesn't matter their numbers. And that's what we just said. It doesn't matter their numbers. They should kick against this. Since they're in the National Assembly, they should not allow them to muzzle their mouths. They should kick against this kind of law because Nigerians are actually fighting for a better Nigeria. And that's why they are there to aid in this better Nigeria that we are fighting for. Another person here reacted and said, you guys think you can hide Bola Tinubu as a drug pusher? No way. The media must be free. No matter how hard you try to censor it, how would we have known that your oga dey touch cocaine if not for social media? Okay, you wanted us to wait and hear it from NTA or TVC, right? And it's not possible because this mainstream media will not report it. They all know about it, but they will keep quiet because they are trying to save their face, because they know that once they report it, NBC will come after them just the way they are coming after Arise TV, because their presenters and the television station is always telling Nigerians the truth about Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and now NBC is against Arise News. There's no way other mainstream media is going to carry the news. So the only platform through which Nigerians are knowing the truth, the only platform through which Nigerians get undiluted reports about this current administration, they are trying to muzzle them. They are trying to regulate social media because they know it is a good tool in the hands of Nigerians to expose Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And Nigerians are not going to keep quiet about this. And we know at the end of the day, we are going to get justice in this case. And all the things that Tinubu is trying to hide must be exposed at the end of the day. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Please do well to share your thoughts about the video in the comment section. Please do well to like this video, and please do well to subscribe to our channel if you are yet to subscribe, so you get updates whenever we post a new video.